Welcome everybody to a new video from Smart Society. My name is Chapito and today we're going to be talking about the Collection Insights V2. It's currently free for everybody, so everybody can use it even if you're not a holder. So the link is down below if you want to go check it out. But today we're really going to be talking about okay, we've got all this data, we've got these graphs, we've got these tables. How can we actually trade with them and make money on Solana NFTs? And that's obviously what you're all excited about and all want to hear, because we did a platform demo in our Discord already, but today I'm really going to go in depth into all the different strategies you can use to get those trades in and make profits. So let's get going right away. And the first thing you see on the homepage here are these four tables. So we've got conviction climbers, top mention movers, top sentiment surges, and conviction crumblers. They're all quite explanatory, but I'm gonna tell you the mechanics behind it and how you can actually trade with them. So let's start with conviction crumblers, because this is actually the table of projects you might not want to be looking at. So what it means is that people are listing their NFTs for a loss, or they're undercutting the floor. So what that means is that people want to exit the project as quickly as possible and they don't care if they make a loss. So that's a lack of conviction there that you see, and it's not a good sign for people that want to trade. So these might be good buys for the long term. This metric doesn't say anything about that, but for the short term, it definitely isn't a good sign that they're in this table. So that's the ones you don't want to be looking at, but let's go to the tables you do want to be looking at. Because we've got conviction climbers right here, and that's the exact opposite of conviction crumblers. So what it means is that conviction climbers are actually people that are listing for a profit. So let's say I go into Nude Apes right here, and I'm a trader, So a lot of times when I go into projects to trade on, I buy them for 5 Sol, for instance, and then I immediately set the profit level and list it for that price that I want. So I'm always thinking okay, Nude Apes, how far are they going to go, in my opinion? And for what price am I going to list it? So if I think that Nude Apes is only going to pump 20%, then I'm going to list it for 6 Sol. But what if I list Nude Apes for 10 Sol? Because I believe that that's the profit level that will be reached. They will go to 10 Sol eventually. They will show a major conviction into the project. So if that happens, that will be shown here at a large scale, of course, obviously. So if a lot of people are listing their NFTs in projects for a big profit level, then they will be shown here. And in our data, we've seen that this is a really good indicator of the floor price movement in the next few days. So really good to be looking at that one. And what we like to do, if we find a project here, we like to put them in the table. So we're gonna put them in here, Nude Ape. And we're gonna see, let's see the 24 hours, because currently there's not a lot of liquidity to be actually trading on the 5 and 15 minutes time frames, but 1 hour, 3 hour, 24 hours, 3 days and 7 days, definitely possible. So let's go to 24 hours, and what we see here is a few metrics. So first of all, sales and volume. We want to be looking at projects that have at least some sales and volume in there, because if there's no volume and sales into the project, there's also not a lot of probability that the price is going to go up, just because nobody is buying right now. Well, we see enough volume and sales right here, and the next thing we want to be looking at is floor price and listed count. So what I want to see actually is a bigger listed count decrease than a floor price increase. Currently, that's not the case with Nude Ape, because we see that the listed count has gone down 7% and the floor price has already pumped 19%. So not the best, but still a possibility to do well, obviously. Floor thickness is really the metric that shows you how easy a floor can be broken through. So let's say we've got a Nude Ape here for 5.05 Sol. That's listed at floor. Then the next one that's listed is 5.2, then 5.6, then 6. Well, that means that there's only 3 sales that need to happen for the floor price to go up 20% to 6 Sol. So if you're a trader, that's obviously very interesting to see, because if there's volume, if the floor thickness is really thin, then you know that the floor price and your profit levels are reached very fast. So right now the floor thickness is going down, is going up, so that's not a good sign. But still a lot of green here. We see mentions going up, and the Newt Ape account is not their main account, I think. So you would have to look at Stone Ape here. But you normally want to see a bigger mention count than 13. But because they don't really use this Twitter account anymore, you don't really have to be looking at it in this case. Normally you want to though. So let's see in the graph here what they do. And we've got two types of graphs. We've got lines and candles. So I prefer the lines, to be fair, because you have all the indicators here. You've got the blue mention line, you've got the listed count decreases, and you've got the floor price, and you've got the volume. Candles, you only have floor price, volume, and floor price. So let's see what we want to be looking at here. We see that the listed count has gone down significantly, which is really nice. But we also see that the floor price is already pumped really hard as well. And that's actually what we already saw in the table, Normally we want to see a big listed count decrease and maybe a little floor price pump, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. And right now they could be going for a leg up, but I'm just not that sure. So let's go back and look at some other indicators. And they're in top sentiment searches now as well. So that would be one reason I would be really looking at them. If a project is in 2 of the 3 tables here, or in 3, that's obviously very bullish. So let's move on to top mention movers though, because we're actually first here right now, which is great. We haven't rigged it. Twitter mentions. And that means that they're increasing in Twitter mentions, but they're also having a certain volume. And it also has to come from a certain number. So what does it mean? It means that projects that are going from 0 to 20 mentions is a big percentage-wise increase. But obviously, it's not interesting to look at. So we've set certain standards that make sure that only interesting projects will be going in here. And we see Smart Society up here first. So let's go to them and let's see what we can find in the table. So we see a mention increase. We see a listed count decrease, but again, a bigger floor price increase. Also not so much happening here. So let's put them in the graph and see what happens. And as we see here, we see a beautiful listed count decrease, and we see floor prices already move with it a little bit. And, mentions have gone down significantly as well. So a lot of bullish indicators here, and might be something you want to look at. Obviously, I'm biased because it's Smart Society over here that we're talking about, our project. But just looking purely at the data, it's looking quite good. So let's move on to top sentiment searches, and I'm going to explain to you what it is first. It means the biggest increase in profitable holders. So let's take DGOTS, for instance, when they were at 930 SOL, I think it was their all-time high. And at that point, there was nobody who bought into DGOTS at a lower floor price, which means that theoretically, all holders are in profit. Obviously, that's a very good sign and a healthy sign of a project, because obviously if you're in NFT projects and everybody is making money on your NFT, everybody is happy with their investment because it's going up, then the sentiment is really high. And we've seen in our data that it's a great indicator for floor price activity as well. So what do we see here? We see a lot of projects that have already pumped. So normally we want to look at the projects that haven't really pumped that far yet. Let's just look at one in the table that maybe has pumped the least, so Retro Goons, and see what they've got here. And you see indeed that listed count decrease is not bigger than the floor price increase. Sales have gone up a lot. Floor thickness has increased, so not a good sign. And floor mentions have also not increased. So it's not really being confirmed by the table yet, but obviously just because they're in here could be a very bullish sign. So right now we haven't really seen any projects that are being confirmed by the table. We've seen Smart Society, which looked really good in the graph, didn't have all the indicators in the table. And that's the one I want to give to you as well, because a lot of times it's not possible to tick all of the boxes. So you got to look at certain boxes here. And the ones that I think are the most important are indeed the combo of a listed count decrease and a Twitter mentions increase. And if the floor price then hasn't pumped that far yet, then that's a really bullish indicator. So what are we going to do next? We're going to go through a different route, Because now we have seen projects that are doing well here, put them into the table, and then put them into the graph. But we can also go a different route of going to the table first. So what we can do is we're going to do the 24-hour timestamp again, and we're going to be selecting the listed count decrease. And what we really want to see in this table is actually all of these where we want to see green, and we only want to see this one maybe in the red or not that green. So we see WePunks here. I know that this project has just minted, so I'm going to be wary of them, but let's put them in the graph anyways. But they have everything in green, so that's a really bullish sign. So as we see here, they just released yesterday, I think, and you can see the floor price has gone down. And if you look at here, you see that the listed count has decreased, but looking at these just 2-day type timestamp, it's not really a big increase. And you see Twitter mentions have gone down, volume has gone down. They're a new mint, so there's a lot of things that could change. So I'm not gonna touch it, but in terms of indicators, they do have all the good indicators that you want to see. So let's move on to some other projects, because if we can find some project, for instance, the Fox Soul Club, the only thing they don't have is currently mentions, but you can see that the listed count has gone down, volume has gone up, floor thickness has gone up as well, or gone down as well. And they have enough mentions. So that's very interesting to look at as well, because an increase would be better, would be ideal. But if they have enough mentions, that already means that they're established and that there's enough hype around them. And if you then have the other indicators to confirm it, that's bullish. So let's go to this one in the graph and see how they're doing. You can see here, mentions have gone up from here quite a lot. I know it's night right now for most people, so it would be interesting to see when the US wakes up, if that goes up again. But you can see this account gone down here, and you can see here the floor price went up. This account goes down here almost to all-time low, and the floor price has gone up a little bit as well already, but it's now stagnating a little bit and going down. So could be an interesting one here. Let's look at the 24-hour graph, and then you can see it even better. So you can see that this account has gone down a lot, and floor price has actually gone down too. So could be an interesting one to look at. And even if they don't have the mention count increase, they still have a lot of other factors. And just because we have so much data right now and so much data points, it's important for you to get a really good grasp of everything that you can do with it. So what I want to say is play around with these indicators. It's very seamless. The platform is fast. You can easily spot all these projects and look, for instance, at floor thickness, or put them in the listed count, or go through mentions. And it's quite easy, and if you only want to see certain projects, you can also say like, okay, I want the minimum only for projects with a minimum of 1 floor price, and it goes automatically as well. So go that way, go through the tables. Keep a good lookout on these indicators, because if you see a project popping up here in one of these tables, it's a very good indicator. So as you can see on the platform, there's a lot of stuff that's coming soon here already, and these are going to be related to what you see on the homepage in the tables, but in graphical form and for every project. So that's going to be available to holders only, and there's a lot more coming from next week on. We're going to have the reveal week. And if you want to join into these updates, if you want to see the new releases, if you want to get that art upgrade for free, then make sure to buy a Smarty Society NFT on one of the marketplaces. So hopefully that helps you with your trading experience, and we're going to make more of these videos as soon as we get more updates in and more futures. And then we're probably going to make a video about this like every week or whatever. So if you have any questions about the tools, make sure to put them in the comments. And other than that, happy trading and have a great day, and I'll see you later.